Welcome to another episode of the STR Sisterhood. I'm your host, Stacey St. John, and I'm so darned excited to spend some time with you today. Now, before we jump into this episode, I'm going to share a quote with you that I recently read. And it says, "I don't have any time to stay up all night worrying about what someone who doesn't love me has to say about me." And those amazing words come from award-winning actress Viola Davis. Now, in this episode, we are sitting down with Nisha Franklin, and we're hearing all about how you can make your property shoppable with her business called Fromware. So without further ado, let's jump into my conversation with Nisha. So today we are here with Nisha Franklin, and we are learning all about her journey in the world of short-term rentals and from where she comes. Nisha, thank you for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Stacey, for having me. I really appreciate it. And I'm excited to chat with you and share what we're doing for STR hosts.
I love it. So take us to the beginning. Talk to us a little bit about who you are and how you got involved in the world of short-term rentals.
Sure. So it's actually sort of a non-direct way. My background is in marketing and advertising. I started out in the advertising agency world in Los Angeles, which is where Fromware is based and where we live, where I'm from. So I started out kind of there doing brand strategy, planning promotions for actually a very diverse range of clients, from like quick service restaurants to entertainment, to health and beauty. So a lot of different industries. And then my husband, David, who is a co-founder of Fromware, his job took us to Houston. So we were in Texas for about 6 years, at which point I flipped in-house and was doing in-house marketing for actually a very large, or we grew it to be a large healthcare company. So that was different, learning the ins and outs of that. Which sometimes I think about that because there was a level of like hospitality there too with the patients or clients, which, you know, obviously is huge in the STR world. So worked there until I had my daughter. And after I had her, I wanted to spend a little more time with her. So I kind of took a step back from that kind of crazier world and started doing some marketing consulting for a few clients, which I was very fortunate to be able to do. And that kind of led me. So then pandemic, I started another small business around cheese, actually.
Wait a minute. Cheese?
Yes. Yeah. So it's, I do like cheese education and like cheese boards. And I've been to cheese camp in Vermont at Jasper Hill Farm. Very random, I know.
OMG.
Yeah. I love cheese. That business is called Bakes and Boards. So you can look it up. And I don't know, I do a lot of fun, like inspirational boards and ideas. And that has definitely taken a back seat since Fromware has come in the picture. So, you know, love traveling, love staying at short-term rentals. And so a lot of people are always asking me like, oh, like how many STRs do you have? And like, none, but I stay at them.
Yeah.
So, you know, from a lot of those family vacations and stays, I would find myself asking like, oh, you know, that's like a really cool table. Where do you think they got that from?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, to be fair, I've lived in my house for 7 years and I'm still trying to like get it exactly right.
Yes.
Like looking at things and looking at like how other people have styled things and done things. So, you know, that came up a few times. And then the idea for Fromware was really sparked by a trip that we took to Hawaii. And we loved the mattress. And to the point where I actually went to go find out where it was from. I asked the host, who was, you know, kind enough to share when there was nothing in it for him. And so David and I started talking and we were like, you know what, maybe there's something here. So we did a little research. We kind of inserted ourselves into this like STR realm and network. And he went to a couple different events. I think you met him at, was it in Denver?
Yes. Yeah.
And then, and then we just kind of polled our own networks too. And they were like, yeah, we think it's a great idea. And we just, generated a lot of interest and momentum. And so that's, I guess, my background, and also how a little bit about how Fromware was ideated, I guess.
Sure. I love that. I love that. So for anyone who's watching or listening who hasn't been exposed to Fromware, tell us what it is and how it can help hosts.
Sure. So basically what we do is we turn a STR into a shoppable experience. So we create a digital storefront for STRs so that when a guest wants to know, where is that mattress from, or where is that coffee table from, a host doesn't have to answer that question. They can just refer the guest to their digital storefront, which is on fromware.com. And then how it helps hosts is, they're fielding less questions. And this also applies to like interior designers as well, because we've seen that they are looking for a way to share their, client favorites or the things that clients are always asking about. So I'll keep saying host because yes, this was built for hosts, but it's, also can apply to others. So how it helps hosts is basically they earn a commission on every purchase. So if a guest you like something and purchases something off of the digital storefront, the host will make a commission on that purchase. And it really depends on, how active the hosts are too, like if they're promoting their storefronts. And we try and equip hosts with everything that they need to do that. So whether it's just like messaging that can go in the check-in and check-out instructions, and we also create like a PDF with a personalized QR code. So a guest can just easily scan that to get to the storefront. They also have like a code which they can put in the guidebook or the instruction book that you have in the actual space. So yeah, we try and make it really easy for guests. Like we try and do all of the heavy lifting. We build a storefront for free. We don't have a platform fee or a membership fee. So really, we're also making money when they're doing well because we're splitting that commission.
Sure. So I could imagine someone saying, oh, wow, this sounds fabulous, but I have no idea where I bought my stuff from. What are your recommendations for someone who may want to participate on the platform, but maybe they staged their property 3 years ago and they don't have the receipts handy? How do you navigate situations like that?
That's a very good question. So we try and make it as easy as possible. So one is, we encourage hosts to just start small. They don't have to have 50 things on their storefront. They can have 5 things on their storefront. So if they know, where 5 things are from that they think guests might like or guests have asked about, start with that. It doesn't have to be a huge undertaking for them. The second thing is we do have a team that does sourcing. It's basically they will look at the listing pictures and figure out where things are from. And then we put those on the storefront and we'll send it to the host and say, like, does this look right? And they can say, no, it's definitely not that. Take this off, add this. They have that control over the storefront. And then also we can recommend similar items. So we can have our team find something that's comparable quality and look. And then we can, list that. And we can also list that as a similar item. So it's disclosed that it's not the exact same item that was in the STR. The thing that we do really need help from hosts with is things that we can't figure out what they are. Like obviously from a picture, you don't know linens, you don't know what the sheets are, or the towels. So that's something that we definitely need input on, if they want to include it on the storefront, which they have to. There's no, minimum or maximum number of items that you need to include.
Sure. Now, what if someone purchased something locally, like a piece of furniture, and is it possible to source that online digitally, even if they bought it from a local provider?
It is. So we also have like relationships with like manufacturers, and we're, trying to go, a step above that so that we can actually provide them with the item, even if it was, bought locally. However, we also do like supporting local. So we have been having lots of conversations with, more like regional or just like city-based places, if we can get them on board with us and like how that would work.
I love that. I love that. I'm curious, what seems to be the hottest trending things that people are putting on their Fromware digital storefronts?
That's a good question. What do we see? We see like a lot of mattresses, pillows, linens in general, I guess. And then like cool, like different items, like some maybe like artwork or like decor. There's like a lot of bar stools. What else? This is like something that David could tell you like everything in order because he is like really the numbers and like data person. But that's like off the top of my head.
I love it. I love it. Now, talk to me a little bit about, the sign up process. If somebody's like, ooh, I would love to make my property shoppable, how do they go about signing up and what is the onboarding process like?
So, like I said, we really try and make this as easy as possible because we know hosts are juggling a million things. So, we don't want the sign up process to be like a deterrent. So basically you would go to fromware.com, you would click join. It's like across the top of the site. We collect really simple, basic information. We actually shortened that when we were at STR WealthCon because people were signing up on the spot and we didn't want them to have to like put in like how many STRs they have and like what is the average, nightly rate. Like we just took that all off. So now it's really just like name, email, phone, and like what their primary role is. Like, are they a host or an interior designer or a property manager? So it just takes like a minute and a link to their like primary listing. And then we'll build like a preview storefront for them. They get an email with like the info. We send that over. They take a look. They can, like I said, tell us like, add these things, take this away, and then it goes live. Then we provide the PDF with their custom QR code and can provide them with the messaging to include, and it's kind of ready to go. So it's a very quick process. They could start with one, if you have many STRs, you can start with just one. And yeah, that's it.
Amazing. I'm curious about pricing of the items. Who sets the pricing and how does that work?
The pricing is just whatever the pricing is that we get. So like some of our partners are like wholesale partners. And then some of the brands that we're working with, it's like an affiliate relationship. Okay. So whatever that price is what we're the like upside of that between that and like the retail price is what we're splitting with the host. So you're selling essentially at retail, like what someone could buy it for online, and then splitting the difference between the retail and the wholesale. Exactly.
And I'm curious, would a host ever have the ability to say, hey, I want to run a promotion on my mattresses? Like, are there any opportunities for a host to run any promotional discounts on any of their items?
We haven't done that yet. That's not to say that we wouldn't be able to do it. We would just either have to have a product that we know that there is more of a margin on, and then we can eat into that a little bit to be able to do something like that. But yeah, we're a small team and we're very flexible and we are always willing to try things. So we could definitely figure something like that out if they wanted to do that.
And are there any stats too on, timing that it takes for a host to start selling items? I mean, what does that typically look like? So they have their storefront in place. How often are they seeing things being sold right away? Does it usually take 30, 60, 90 days? I'm sure it probably depends on the types of items that they've got on there, but talk to us a bit about that.
Sure. It's a little difficult to answer just based on some hosts sign up and they're like very excited about it. And if they are promoting it on their like own channels, and they're, telling guests about it. And there's, a framed sign in the actual STR. Like, they're going to do a lot better than someone who signs up and then just kind of forgets about it.
Sure.
So I think the biggest thing there is like how much is the host really putting this in. And once you put it into your messaging and you have it in your space, like, you can kind of set it and forget it. But I think that step is important, where it is in your messaging. By the way, if you loved anything in our home, shop the space in our digital storefront. We did have someone who was really excited recently because they had been using like a different provider and had been on it for like a few years, and they're like, we've never seen any sales. And then, we had someone sign up, and within, 3 months they had sales. So, again, it depends, but,
Sure.
we're also seeing organic traffic to Fromware, which is very cool, because originally we thought all of the traffic would be coming from the host, and the STRs would be driving the traffic to the site. But now that we're ranking organically with Google, there is additional, organic traffic coming to the site, which is cool.
I love that. And I'm curious, obviously you've got this going on. You've got your cheese business going on. Talk to us about how you are managing your time as a business owner, an entrepreneur, a wife, a homemaker. Talk to us about what that time looks like for you.
I feel like I don't have a great answer for this because I could be doing better here. But it is a lot of juggling, and it's a lot of planning ahead, making sure that, all of the different moving pieces are accounted for, and just blocking the time that I know that I need to be doing something, and carving that time out. Otherwise it's like, the whole day could go by and I'm like, oh, it's time to pick up the kids. And, yeah. So it's just planning ahead, just managing the calendar that way. And, even if it's like having to go through emails, just blocking time for that.
Yeah.
Even in like life. And it's like, I really like going to Pilates, blocking that ahead of time and putting it on everyone's calendar so everyone knows where I'm going to be and there is no issue.
Yes. I mean, time blocking to me is one of the best gifts we can give to ourselves when it comes to managing our time. I absolutely am a huge proponent of time blocking. And, you can time block for anything. You can time block for family time. You can time block for thinking time. You can time block for finance time. So a lot of folks only time block kind of the super, super important things. And I always encourage folks to time block everything, because then you really have control over your calendar.
Absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. I'm curious about what's next for you, Nisha. So it sounds like you're a serial entrepreneur. You're someone who loves business. Where do you see Fromware headed in the next 5 years?
The ideal is that really any space, any Airbnb, any bookable space is shoppable. That would be so cool. That's really our goal. But we have some other exciting things too that, we're working on. For example, integrating booking links within Fromware so that, if you're shopping on Fromware and you love the aesthetic of something and you start seeing new products, okay, this is really cool. You can see which, STRs those products are in and tied to, and then you can actually book a stay. So we're also working on just kind of enhancing the website so you can shop in different ways. You can right now, you can shop by location, by city, but you can also shop by look. So yeah, being able to integrate the booking links and then just really getting more people onboarded and actively using it, I think are where we're going.
I love that. And as you're saying that, I'm thinking, who is doing all the tech in the background? Because that is not an easy feat to build something that you have built. Talk to us about what that has looked like for you. Are you working?
It's not me. It's not me. David is way more techie. And so he kind of oversees all of that. I am more of the like brand and creative side and just like saying, I want it to look like this. I don't know how that works, but can you do that?
Right. Right.
And he works with a team, we worked with an agency to build the site. And then we have, a dev who is, working on all of our updates and things that we want to get live on the site. So,
so fun. Yeah. So fun. Nisha, this is so good. And I was going to say, one of the things that we originally talked about when we connected is the fact that you have family in Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Which is where I live. So it's such a small world.
Yeah. We go there. We said we were going to grab coffee when, we can meet up.
Exactly. So fun. All right, Nisha, I want to move to the lightning round. Okay. So I'm going to ask you to answer with the very first thing that comes to mind.
Oh God.
I love the, oh God. It won't be hard. I promise. Well, it might be hard. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how. I'm sure you'll do great.
I'm ready.
First question is, where is your favorite place to vacation?
Oh, that is hard, but I'll say Mexico because love a beach vacation. Kids love the ocean. I actually got married in Cabo. So like, it's a very special place for us. So, and it's easy to get to from LA.
Right. So Cabo is your go-to vacation spot.
It is. The one thing I will say is that you can't swim in the ocean there most places. So that's why if you go, to the other side, like the Cancun side, it's more swimmable, but then it's much farther. When we lived in Houston, we would always go there because it was just a flight. But now that we're on this side, it's easier to go to this side. So, but yes, still, I would take a vacation anywhere there.
Anywhere. I actually visited Cabo for the first time this past January. We had our Achievers Club retreat in Cabo. So, we're an intimate group of women who all have 5 or more properties or have $1 million or more in revenue. And so we mastermind together each and every week, but we took a retreat trip to Cabo where we did hot seats and we had playtime. And that was my first visit to Cabo. Absolutely loved it. We did whale watching and all kinds of fun excursions. But one thing that I did not expect was that it was much colder than I anticipated. So
the water?
No, just right. So we went in January, and the thing that was interesting, it was probably, I'm going to say 50 to 55 degrees outside, but our resort did not have heat. So our rooms were like freezing. I was covered up in bed at night, like in my hoodie and my Lululemon pants, and I had towels over the bed to warm me up because it was so cold. So is this a regular thing that they don't have heat in resort?
I don't know. I guess I've never really needed to use the heat there. And I mean, we've been in December many times and it's not been cold. So I feel like you need to go again and give it another chance.
Okay. I'll do that. You could convince me of that. So fun. And I love Cancun. Oh my gosh. Love Cancun. Such beautiful water. All right. Next question. What's one place you've never been that you want to visit?
Oh, that's even harder. This one is really hard. I would say, I mean, we've traveled a lot in Europe and I love Europe. There's still some places that I would like to go. I'm lucky enough to have family there. So when we go, we can stay with them. And it's just a really fun time. I would say maybe Thailand or the Philippines or Indonesia. I know the beaches there are so beautiful and I haven't been to any of those countries like the pristine Asian beach.
Yeah. Amazing.
I know that was 3 I said, so
we'll count it as one. We'll count that area of the world as one.
Okay.
All right. Next question is, what's one thing you know now that you wished you knew when you were starting out in the world of short-term rentals and Fromware?
Oh, that's a good one. I think how tight knit and supportive the community is. I wish we had tapped into it sooner. And it's, really great that we have now. And it's like great that I'm talking to you and that, we connected. And I just think there's so many people that are really like motivated, like supportive of each other. And I think that's really cool.
It is an amazing, amazing industry full of people who are there to support and help one another. So it's one of my favorite things, is just connecting with others and seeing what others are doing, helping others. And at least in my own ecosystem, of people inside our STR Sisterhood community, in our Accelerator community, in our Achievers Club, we're all there to help one another, to help someone else and pay it forward. And I think it's so incredible. So incredible.
Yeah,
all
I
right.
love it.
Next question. What is the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Well, okay. I would say not to be afraid to mess up, because that has been something I am still working on. I remember as a kid, I wouldn't even want to try something if I didn't think I was going to be good at it. And it was like, it would prevent me from doing things because I just, like, I remember my mom asking me spelling words. And if I didn't know like 110% that was correct, I didn't even try. I refused to spell it because I don't know. I didn't want to be wrong. And I was afraid to make mistakes. And I think, like being empowered to make mistakes and just learn from it or move on or, do what you need to do, like that kind of, has like helped me obviously as an entrepreneur, because as you know, they're like, some days everything goes wrong and some days everything's great. And, you just have to kind of figure it out and keep moving on. So, I think don't be afraid to make mistakes.
I think that's such great advice. And the other thing too, is when we think about our mistakes, the biggest failure is not the mistake itself. It's failing to learn from that mistake, right? And I'm going to take it a step further in that one of the greatest gifts that we can give to other people is to talk about our mistakes, because you can proactively help someone avoid that same mistake, right? Yep. So don't keep it in, fail forward, improve, build a process, whatever the case might be to avoid that same mistake happening again, but then proactively share with other people to help them not fall into the same trap, right?
You're so right. And sometimes when we do mess up or we make mistake, we're like, maybe you're like embarrassed by it, or, you just feel like you should have known better. And yeah, you're right. It's when we're all sharing with each other, we're helping lift each other up and avoid those same mistakes. So
amen. Amen, sister. Okay. Last question. What's one thing and or person that you're grateful for today?
Well, I feel like most people would say like, I don't know, family, which obviously I'm infinitely grateful for. But today, specifically, because you asked me this question today, I feel like I would say health, because it's something we take for granted all the time. And until you're like injured or sick, you don't realize it. This is like very silly, but when we were on vacation last month, I hurt my toe so badly that like I couldn't walk. And it was, like you just like take being able to do everything and being active and, working out and running a million different things for granted until like one little thing goes wrong. So
one little toe goes astray.
It just throws everything off.
Oh my gosh. And it seems so innocent, but one little toe, I don't know which toe it was.
It was my little toe. It was
your little toe. Okay, good. But it can make a huge difference. And I think if we take that back to, I'm going to take it back to business for a hot minute. But when we have that one thorn in our side, that one pain point, if we ignore it and we just say, oh, it'll go away, it might, but it might come back to bite you in the future. So take care of that pain point, solve the problem, fix the little toe if it needs to be fixed, right? But oftentimes our businesses, have issues where we do need tender loving care and healing and rest and, attention given to those pain points. How did your little toe heal? Was it just over time?
We buddy taped it and rested it a little bit, iced it, and I don't know, it took like 2 weeks and it was.
There you go. Back to new, brand spanking new.
Yeah.
Nisha, this is so fun. If someone is interested in learning more about Fromware or creating a digital storefront, where is the best place for them to find you online?
They can look up our website, which is fromware.com, and they can sign up directly on the website. We are also on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and our handle is @FromwareFinds.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Stacey. It was my pleasure.